In wrestling, a character turning from villain to hero often lacks the impact of a hero turning villain. WWE has witnessed numerous missteps in timing and presentation when transitioning characters to the good side, resulting in lackluster outcomes. However, when done right, these face turns can be remarkably compelling. Let's dive into the most memorable and successful face turns in WWE history. Here are the top 10 WWE face turns ever. Join us for this exciting exploration. Number 10. Edge wins the Rumble. In wrestling, when someone disappears for a while and then comes back, people get excited. This happened in 2010 at the Royal Rumble when Edge, a wrestler known for being a bad guy, made a surprise return. At that time, there were already big names like John Cena, Shawn Michaels, and Chris Jericho in the ring. The 29th spot in the Rumble was the only place left for a surprise entrance. When Edge's music hit, the crowd went wild. He stormed in with this intense energy.
You think you know me?
What? Oh my! The rated R superstar!
Looking fired up and a bit crazy, just like he always did. Edge had been away for about 7 months because he had a serious injury. He had to give up a championship because of it, and his old friend Chris Jericho kept blaming him for everything. Jericho made fun of Edge's body being broken down, but at Rumble, Edge got revenge. He charged straight at Jericho and tackled him out of the ring. This big move marked a change for Edge. He turned from a bad guy into a good guy, which people call a babyface. This moment set the stage for a match between Edge and Jericho at WrestleMania, where Edge would be the good guy. Number 9. Kurt Angle turns back to Team WWF. In 2001, during the Invasion angle in wrestling, something often forgotten is Kurt Angle's big change to being a good guy. There was this huge match at Survivor Series between Vince McMahon's Team WWF and Shane and Stephanie McMahon's Team Alliance. Vince hinted that there was a spy in the alliance, making them think they had a traitor among them. Shane was sure it was just a trick, but the question lingered. Would someone really switch sides? Then, during the match, a shocker happened. Chris Jericho, part of Team WWF, turned on his own team. He made it to the final 3, but got eliminated by the Alliance's Steve Austin. Then, unexpectedly, Jericho attacked The Rock. Leaving everyone wondering if Vince had actually sent Jericho to help the other side. It was a big surprise because Jericho used to be in WCW and ECW. But just when it looked bad for The Rock and Team WWF, Kurt Angle ran in, grabbed the championship belt, and helped The Rock win by hitting Steve Austin. Team WWF won, and it turned out Angle was the mole Vince had hinted about. The alliance was done, and suddenly, Kurt Angle became a popular good guy in wrestling. Number 8. Andre the Giant turns good. As WrestleMania 6 rolled back in 1990, Andre the Giant, who'd been a bad guy since he took on Hulk Hogan before WrestleMania 3, was nearing the end of his time in the ring and in life. He wasn't wrestling much and mostly showed up for big events like WrestleMania. At WrestleMania, he teamed up with Haku, guided by Bobby Heenan, to defend their tag titles against Demolition. The match didn't go their way, though. Demolition managed to pin Haku while getting Andre tangled up in the ropes. Heenan lost it in the ring, furious at Andre's struggle. Heenan even went as far as slapping Andre to vent his frustration, but that set the Giant off. With his immense strength, Andre grabbed Heenan's jacket and started hitting back. Heenan got tossed out of the ring, and Haku couldn't do much to help. That was the end of their partnership. Soon after, Andre left the WWF for good. He was one of the most famous wrestlers before WrestleMania became big, and he remained a beloved figure until the end of his career and life. Number 7. Virgil turns on DiBiase. At the Royal Rumble in 1991, there's this classic moment involving Virgil and the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. They tag-teamed against Dusty and Dustin Rhodes, and even though DiBiase insulted Virgil throughout the match, they won. Then, after the victory, DiBiase told Virgil to put the $1 Million Championship around his waist. Virgil hesitated, the crowd got restless, and commentators urged him not to do it. Under the threat of losing his job, Virgil kneeled as if he would comply, but suddenly, he smacked DiBiase across the face with the championship belt. The crowd went wild, and Roddy Piper on commentary went nuts, shouting yes, as Virgil stood up against his boss. Number 6. Daniel Bryan leaves the Wyatt family. This moment was huge in the arena, but it's ranked lower because Bryan was a bad guy for just a short while. Wyatt somehow got Bryan to join his group, dressing him up like them. On a January 30th, 2014 episode of Raw, Bryan and Bray faced the Usos in a cage match and lost. After the match, Bray wanted Bryan to bow to him. Even though people wanted Bryan to stand up to Bray, he bowed. But when Bray tried a move, Bryan dodged it. People got really excited. Bryan started hitting Bray with punches. The other Wyatts couldn't help because they were locked out. The crowd went wild, cheering Bryan on. When Bryan finished with the Wyatts, everyone was standing and yelling, "Yes!" together. It was a memorable moment with Bryan on top of the cage, arms up, and more than 15,000 people cheering. Yes! 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 Number 5. Triple H's thumbs down. During Triple H's time leading Evolution, he held the top Raw Championship for about 2 years, acting like he owned everything and everyone, like some kind of emperor. He felt untouchable, making decisions and even using a thumbs up, thumbs down thing, just like the mean ruler in the movie Gladiator. He did it to Randy Orton, after Orton won a title in 2004. But every big bad boss has someone ready to stand up against them. For Triple H, that person was Batista, his student. Batista won the Royal Rumble, signaling a change. He had to decide who to challenge at WrestleMania, SmackDown's champ JBL or his mentor, Triple H. There was a contract signing, and it seemed like Batista might join Triple H's gang on SmackDown. But Batista had heard Triple H and Ric Flair talking trash about him. When it came time to sign, Batista picked up SmackDown's contract, making it look like he'd joined them. They were thrilled, giving him thumbs ups. Then, Batista's expression shifted, his thumb went down, and that was it for Triple H and Evolution. Number 4. Hogan sides with The Rock. At WrestleMania 18, it was a mega match where two wrestling legends clashed in an epic showdown. The Rock, a top-notch WWE star, was at the peak of his fame. He was so popular that there was even a show named after his catchphrase, and he was making moves into Hollywood. On the other side, there was Hollywood Hulk Hogan, a wrestling icon from another time, part of a group called the New World Order, NWO. Introduced by the WWE boss, Vince McMahon. When they faced off, the arena exploded with excitement. Here's the twist. The fans cheered for Hogan, even though he was supposed to be the bad guy, while The Rock got mostly booed, even though he was the good guy. The Rock ended up winning the match, but then trouble brewed. Two other NWO members, Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, barged in to attack Hogan. Seeing Hogan getting thrashed, The Rock dashed back to help. But to turn things around, Hogan went all out. He shook off the beating, fought back, and did his classic Hulk poses. It was a special moment, turning Hogan back into the hero after playing the bad guy for a long time. Number 3. Savage reunites with Elizabeth. For 2 years, Macho Man Randy Savage played a villain in WWE, tangled in problems with his ex-lover turned wife, Elizabeth. He faced a match against the Ultimate Warrior where if he lost, he'd retire, and he did lose. The crowd, knowing Savage would leave, added to his sadness by jeering and attacking him. Then, in a powerful moment, Elizabeth jumped into the ring, defending Savage by tossing out the person who caused him pain. Heartbroken by the loss, Savage stood up, and many in the crowd started cheering, thanking him for his amazing career. He looked at Elizabeth, and after a thoughtful pause, they hugged. It was a genuine and touching moment, one that turned Savage from a bad guy back to a good guy as his wrestling days in WWE came to an end. Number 2, the pipe bomb. This moment was like a thunderbolt in wrestling history, making CM Punk a legend. Known as the CM Punk Light Bomb, it shook up the WWE like nothing else. Punk had been playing the bad guy for years, but then, during a live speech on Monday Night Raw, he ripped into WWE's top brass, exposing behind-the-scenes stuff and speaking the truth. Suddenly, he wasn't just a wrestler, he was a voice shaking the entire sports world. Fans everywhere rallied behind him, making him the most talked-about wrestler and a sought-after star. This turn wasn't just about wrestling. It was a cultural moment that put CM Punk in the history books of the sport. Number 1, Steve Austin won't tap. Just tap out, Austin. Just tap out. At WrestleMania 13, Bret Hart faced off against Stone Cold Steve Austin in a big match for both of them. The crowd was starting to like Austin more than Hart, which meant things needed to change. In the match, Hart got angrier and angrier as Austin wouldn't give up. Hart ended up hurting Austin badly, making him bleed. But Austin, tough as nails, didn't quit. He kept fighting even when Hart had him in a painful move called the sharpshooter. Austin wouldn't surrender, and instead, he passed out. Hart technically won, but Austin's refusal to give up made him a hero in everyone's eyes. He showed incredible bravery and became the biggest good guy in WWE. This match was a turning point for both wrestlers and marked the start of the Stone Cold era. It was a huge moment in wrestling history, and fans still talk about it today. What do you think about our list? Let us know in the comments, and make sure to subscribe to our channel for more.